a lot of things are just getting exposed. A lot of people are, the veil is being lifted. The lies are being revealed. The false personas. All of that is coming to a head. I told you we're coming to a culmination, and it will be, whether you accept it or not, no longer business as usual. So a lot of people say aim high. I would aim high. I would bring myself out of the delusions and the fantasies, and be really honest about your situation. And where you are in your life. Where are you living? Are your needs met? Are you spending all your time at work? Are you not working? Are you spending all your time on video games? Are you spending all your time watching television or surfing the social media platform? Are you immersed in that? What does your house look like? Is it clean? Have you cleaned out your own closets? Have you gone into your own garages? Have you taken care of your own backyards? I mean, come on, we're at a point to where we can handle this. Some of us, I know there are those out there that I know that are parallel with my energy.
Welcome to the Evolution of the Consciousness podcast. Love is spoken here, with your host and guide, Michelle Carithers.
Morning, everybody. Evolution of the Consciousness. Love is spoken here. I'm Michelle Carithers on this December 24th, 2023, in the place to be, baby. So I thought I'd come on through as we're approaching Christmas, and as we're approaching the new year, the end of the year into a new year. I thought I'd come on and share some things about what's happening with me, and how I do my reflection, at these times, because I know these times are filled with a lot of excitement, especially for the children. Gosh, I can remember when I was a young girl, the things were, it was a little different, from my perspective and from what I remember, because I wanted $1 million worth of toys. And then I got upset when I only got one. You understand what I mean? So as we and as time went on and went on, and I think I do remember asking my parents about, what is this all about? This Christmas thing. Because I saw what other kids were doing, I saw what other kids were getting, and how excited they were. And I think it finally dawned on me, my dad, he wasn't about all of that. He didn't see Christmas Day no different from Christmas Eve and this and that and the other. In other words, he saw every day as a day to do whatever you want to do. Okay, do whatever you have to do. And so he didn't really necessarily focused on trends, because Christmas and Thanksgiving and all of those other holidays are trends. It's just we didn't call them trends back in the day, right? We called them whatever we're calling them. But what was different about when we were younger, or when I was younger, those trends didn't come around as fast as they are now. So in other words, there was a trend a month, right? We were celebrating something every month of the year. Now we got a trend a second. Okay, and as I said, my dad didn't fall for it. Okay, he didn't attempt to keep up with all of that. He worked as if he were, like it was a normal day for him, which it is. Is my point. But to each his own. I told everyone, and I've said this on many of my videos, you ought to decide, and this is your decision, on what is important to you and what do you want to celebrate. What are your trends? What is your customs? Create your own, and recognize, and I think that you'll recognize that one day is no different than the other. You need to take moments, for granted, more so than holidays or any other trending moment. Just take your moments and find the value in that, and figure out how you want to celebrate your world, your sphere, because we all are individuals. and we can do whatever we want, right? Well, I think we're going to have a lot of revelations about all of that. But so far, you know, a lot of us are still recognizing that we do have free will. Okay, but at some point, a lot of people are going to dive into their delusions, dive into their fantasies and imagination, and believe that they have neither or. They don't have free will, or they don't have, a lot of people are just going to be so locked up. My point is locked into their fantasies and their delusions, and they're going to lose. I mean, a lot of them have, but lose a grip on reality. Okay, because we're attempting to keep up with everybody. We want to know every trend, and I told you a trend changes every second, and there are some out there just attempting to keep up with that and keep up with that. That's insanity, because it's a delusion. It's a delusion. It's imagination. It's fantasy. And so these days that we have, you can make it whatever you want to make it. It's all on you. You don't have to follow trends. You don't have to follow what everybody else is doing, because that's what I was doing as a young girl. I saw my friends in the neighborhood. Some had new bikes, some had new this and new that, and I was disappointed to say the least, because I was like I said, I was expecting $1 million worth of toys. Okay, exaggeration, but my point is, I'm thankful to my dad and my mom for keeping us grounded in reality. Okay, they kept us grounded in reality until my mom became a little, manic and so forth, having her issues with her reality. I've talked about that enough, but at the same time, we had the right foundation to where we were grounded in our reality, and we knew exactly what's going to be. If he didn't like it, oh well. And so that's why I used to like to go to my next door neighbor's house, because I felt like she gave me a little bit more free range, okay, without so much supervision. Because we had in our neighborhood, we had free range, okay, but you did not want my mom. If my mom told us to come back home at a certain time, okay, you did not want my mother coming to find you. Trust me on that. So, but when I used to go to my next door neighbor's house, I called her my godmother. She allowed me a little bit more freedom to do whatever I wanted to do, and she taught me so many things too. She took a lot of that. She taught me a lot of things. Let's put it that way. As you're reflecting, do whatever you want, but I mean, I would be really, really honest with myself as well. What is different from 2022 than 2023? Honestly, okay. Did you make some goals that you were going to complete in 2022 that you were going to do in 2023? I stopped doing that too, on certain things, on the accumulation of materialism. It got to a point to me where I wanted to be stable in my consciousness. I wanted to make sure I had a real, I wouldn't say fear, but I had a concern that maybe I would be picking up some of the characteristics of some family members, where they had these attachments to certain things, whether it was an addiction, whether it was financial, something. I had a concern about that, okay, where am I going to be? Who am I going to be? Am I going to end up like this and that and the other? Okay, because I pay attention to those kind of things. I pay attention to how people are living, and because I'm visual, and I'm attempting to figure out, okay, what is really going on here, you know and I didn't like certain things I was experiencing, when I would uh, be around people that were familiar to me. I was a little bit concerned about certain things, and how they how they ended up, how would somebody end up in certain situations and realities. So it was really important for me to make sure that I was dealing with my life in the best way I could, where I was not dependent on people. That was always a concern. Is the bottom line. I did not want to be dependent on anyone. I didn't want to have to go run into so and so, borrowing money. I didn't want to have to go to this place, borrowing money. It was always usually centered around money and the effects of what money can do to the consciousness. And I mean, the modeling of behaviors and actions is so important that we make sure that we understand that we do, regardless of whether we are conscious of it or not, we are modeling behaviors for our young people, for our descendants, whether we want to accept that responsibility or not, whether you have a child or not, you still are modeling for your ancestry, of the conditions that they may expect or could expect, So my point is this: when you're being reflective, just be honest with yourself and say, hey, what have I done that's significant for me to be a genuine human being in the true sense? Okay, am I making peace, or am I honestly seeking war, revenge, or retaliation against people? Am I still angry about something? A lot of people got so angry and got themselves so immersed in a lot of outside activities in order to avoid what was going on actually inside of them. We know what this year was about, and these fear tactics about jealousy and envy. A lot of things are just getting exposed. A lot of people the veil is being lifted. The lies are being revealed. The false personas. All of that is coming to a head. I told you we're coming to a culmination, and it will be, whether you accept it or not, no longer business as usual. So I would a lot of people say aim high. I would aim high. I would bring myself out of the delusions and the fantasies, and be really honest about your situation. And where you are in your life. Where are you living? Are your needs met? Are you spending all your time at work? Are you not working? Are you spending all your time on video games? Are you spending all your time watching television or surfing the social media platform? Are you immersed in that? What does your house look like? Is it clean? Have you cleaned out your own closets? Have you gone into your own garages? Have you taken care of your own backyards? I mean, come on, we're at a point to where we can handle this. Some of us, I know there are those out there that I know that are parallel with my energy, and they understand their responsibilities and accountabilities, and they're doing fantastic. And I appreciate you coming along with me, but we know we have work to do, because there's some of us that are willing to be equal to everybody else, not thinking I'm better or worse, but we are allowing ourselves to suspend our egos and be deeply honest about, okay, what is really going on around me. And we ought to be concerned. We ought to be concerned. Yet at the same time, we're going to do whatever we can based on our skills and abilities to help people. Or if we don't want to help people, we're going to vow to get the hell out of everybody's way, because there's a lot of disrupting and interrupting people out there that's doing this intentionally. There's this bothering people, harassing people. Vow to yourself you're going to stop that behavior and do whatever you can to, do some healing. A lot of people say that, go do some healing. That's gonna be a term as well. Go do some healing, and it's true. Take care of yourself first. Take care of yourself inside first. Again, we all have a reason to be despondent, but that doesn't mean that we need to go down that road. Okay, we've all been indoctrinated. We've all been misled, been deceived. There's a lot of disappointments, and we realize that we're just a lot of people were just feeding us a lot of air. A lot of people were lying to us, and unfortunately, that's not going to stop anytime soon. But me as an individual inside, I don't need to take on all of that. I have control and might over myself. I have control over my thoughts, my behaviors, my actions, and I stand up to take my responsibilities as a human being seriously. Okay, I hold myself to a high regard in that. Okay, I'm spreading universal love, and that means I accept all of you. It doesn't mean I'm going to put up with you, though. How about that? Let's make that very clear. Or because we don't agree doesn't mean we can't disagree, but it also doesn't mean that I need to, want to go, smash your head in, or, want to harm you in some way or harm your family. Okay. In 2022, a lot of significant things were brought to my attention, and it opened me up in a certain way that I words cannot describe. So, and I know I like this space that I am currently residing. How about that? This space in my consciousness. Okay. I like where I am in that regard. Okay. I'm not filled with, I love my fantasies, like I said. I love my imagination, my creativity, but I know my reality. And I know that there's work to be done always and forever when it comes to my consciousness, my innermost being, which will reflect in my behavior and action. Okay. When I was at the park yesterday, I took a walk to the park with a book, read a few chapters. The park was nice and calming and peaceful because I went very early, nice and cool, a nice cool breeze. I felt an expansion in my reality. Okay, is that a fantasy? If it was fantastic. I knew I was grounded in my reality, but it was an opening within myself to say, okay, be gentle and calm, be gentle and kind with yourself. It's not easy evolving the consciousness. It's not easy changing your behaviors and your actions. It's not easy because there are a lot of things stacked against us. So as I reflect in this year of 2023, it's going to be, all hands on deck. No longer business as usual for me has been decades in the making. So I'm going to continue with my path. I'm going to continue with the journey I'm taking. And I will be glad to help others to discover their journeys, discover a path, whatever you need. Okay. I can't do it alone, and I'm thankful that there's others coming along to do their part without any nefarious intentions. I know since I received that there are people that have genuine, good, loving intentions and purpose, and they genuinely care about people. Okay, they'll do this caring for people, whether they got paid or not. But I know the reality is that we need to be properly taken care of, and we need to have our needs met, and we need to have the basic necessities of life. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and end that now. I got me a cup of coffee sitting on over there, ready for me to take it on. But again, I wanna, again, holidays to me sounds like trending of today. I'm not bashing that. I'm not against it. But I think if you kind of neutralize yourself properly, you'll be able to take on all of this and realize that it doesn't matter whether it's a Christmas day or a Christmas morning. It's a moment. These are moments in time, defining moments in time that we ought to pay attention to and get a grip on the realities of what's happening right in front of our eyes, what's happening to our planet, what's happening to each other in our interpersonal relationships, and most importantly, what's happening to our consciousness. Evolution of the Consciousness. Love is spoken here. I'm Michelle Carithers.
Thank you so much for listening to the Evolution of the Consciousness podcast. Please make sure to leave us a review. If you wish to ask a question to Michelle, you can leave her an email at missmichellecarithers@gmail.com.